You know, Noble Drew Ali had this quote where he said, if you doubt whether I, the prophet, is for the redemption of my people, go to those that know law. In the city halls, he say, and the officials, ask them under an intelligent tone, and they will be glad to render you a favorable reply, for they are glad to see me bring you out of darkness into the light. He said, money doesn't make the man. Free national principles, standards make the man and the nation. Islam, more. Peace and love to all the Moors, all the Muslims, all the Asiatics. It's time to pop out and really start popping out with law. Because when you start popping out with law, like even right now, right? Y'all see the garb on. But you know what's really interesting when you got the Moorish garb on? When you really got the Moorish garb on, right? All these other nationalities that's pretending to be you, they respect that. And they look at you entirely different. They look at you like, damn, they know who they are. They respect you more. Not with all the guns that you waving in the air. Not with all the drugs and all this other shit, crazy shit. They respect you because they realizing that you know who you are. Go to those that know law. Whether you talking about supreme laws as far as the Constitution, divine law, all law, trust law, all law, regulatory law, the law of commerce, we got to start tapping back into that law and that divine law, that universal law. You feel me? Once we start tapping into that, it's on and cracking. But if you still out here dealing with the belief system that you believe something, but you don't know it's a fact, because you can't believe and know something at the same time. You either know it or you don't know it. Facts. It's like you got a lot of people today. They out here thinking that everything that's crashing as far as the so-called government, they think that Trump saying that he gonna take away education and he gonna do away with so-called black history, they looking at it like a negative thing. But in reality, Trump and the rest of these people, they're not Americans. That's first and foremost. The people that you see, the so-called Caucasians, they're not Americans. You see that? That's the first order of business. What is your status? You can start picking up books like this, all right? Pick up the book, Islam in America. Pick that book up. Pick up the book, The Exhuming of a Nation. Pick up the book, Becoming Supernatural. Pick up the book, Sex and Race, every one of them by J.A. Rogers. Pick up those books. Pick up the book, They Were White and They Were Slaves. It's so many different books to get, but just off the top of the dome, pick them books up. Get up, pick up a constitution, fam. Pick up a constitution, because ain't nobody gonna tell you what you supposed to know already. Pick up that book, fam. Pick up the book Moors and Masons by Abdullah Bay. Pick that book up. It's a gang of books though. These is books that's just thinking about off the top of the dome, man. Pick them books up. And then you start to see how if you go to those that know law, you talking about my yacht. You talking about divine law. You talking about spiritual law. Peace. You talk about all types of laws. not belief systems. That's the thing that's keeping our people so divided. Because everybody got an opinion, but not everybody is dealing with the truth. Just because 1,000 people say it's true or not, that don't mean it's true. That don't mean it's a fact. It's just everybody believes in that. You feel me? That don't mean it's facts though. Listen, man. On that, when you talking about Islam in America, do you know that if you pick up and read the Treaty of Tripoli, just Google the Treaty of Tripoli. The first sentence in the Treaty of Tripoli, the Americas was not founded under Christianity. This is not a Christian nation. The Americas, North America, above Mexico, was not started as a Christian nation.
She taught me how to get down.
It wasn't. So how would it, what kind of atom bomb would that be to people's mindset when they out here going to church on Sunday and they thinking when they say they're a Christian, they really saying out their mouth they're confessing to be Roman property. You confessing to be Christian property that's owned by the Romans. Listen, man. So when you wear your Moorish drip like this, or you got your fez on, all these different nationalities, I don't care if whatever nationality is, if they coming over to the Americas, they foreigners in our land. And we not Indians. We can't be an Indian. The word Indian was substituted for Moor in 1621. These is just documented facts, fam. You can't be an Indian. India is a country over there in the continent of Asia. You can't be Indian. It's an impossibility. You cannot be an Indian. Indian actually means Los Indios. Indian means without God. So anytime that you claim to be a so-called Indian, you really saying you're without God. Also, when you say that you a Negro, you really saying that you a black chimpanzee. You saying that you a monkey. That's what you want to be? A monkey? You got people out here that's believing anything, but they not knowing nothing. So when you talk like, all right, well, what's something that we could start doing right now to switch up and change and correct things for our people right now, right? What can we start doing right now? First thing you can start doing is learning the law, learning the language. Because if you out here thinking that some other nationality is gonna come out here and tell you who you are, they taking you for a long ride. It's nobody else's responsibility to teach you who you are. Nobody. Nobody's job is to do that. What else could you do? Calling these Europeans white people. When you do that, you breaking one of the biggest laws of the land. Because according to the Henry Campbell's Black's Law Dictionary, free white person does not mean Caucasian race. And here it is, these people are immigrants. I'm talking about hybrid Europeans. I'm talking about everybody that come over here from another nation. They not American. But you as a Moorish American, you the true Americans. And you've been finessed out your mind psychologically to call these foreigners Americans. This is why studying the law is crucial. This is why the Prophet Noble Jew Ali said what he said. Go to those that know law and ask them under an intelligent tone This is why he said that. He didn't say go to people that believe. He said go to those that know law. And as much as people out here talking about they Christians and they go to church on Sunday, they don't even realize the word Christian pertains to Christian property. That word Christian is not anything to do with you, because the word Christianity ain't even in the Bible. So how you saying you a Christian and the word Christian ain't even in the Bible that you say you read on Sunday or any other day? How you gonna be a Christian? Think about it. So the Bible that you quote, it don't even mention the word Christian in there. So how you claiming to be something that your own book don't even verify? What? You see the madness? This is the madness that goes on with so-called black people. Because so-called black people will defend something with no evidence, no proof. They will defend it to the tombstone. But then they wonder why nothing changes. Case in point. When you look at language, right? The word Jesus, first of all, there was no J in Hebrew. There's no J in Hebrew. So it can't be Jesus spelled like that. So it's got to be Yehoshua, right? So Yehoshua, or so-called Jesus, when you say that, what does that word mean? The word Yehoshua or Jesus means justice. Do our people question? Do our people get justice in the so-called justice system? Hell no. How many cases you done seen recently of so-called black people getting justice in the justice system? I'll wait. You're not going, you can never get justice in the justice system. But look at the irony though. Look at the irony. As much as so-called black people praise Jesus, have they ever thought that the word Jesus means justice? That's what the word means. One more time. The word Jesus means justice. So if Jesus means justice, so-called black people don't look at the word Jesus and be like, all right, that means justice. It's two sides of the scale. So if you've been getting injustice, you must be doing something wrong not to get justice. Misidentifying as a color, some paint, a black person. If you identifying as a Latino, all those are Christian names. Those are Christian property names. Latino, black, colored, Negro. All those are Christian property names. Those names belong to Roman property. See, the game is still going on. People think like the years have changed, the game changed. The game ain't changed. All they did was put new faces on the same game. That's it. Pick up the book, Only the Slave Shall Serve. Pick up that book. Pick up the book, Distracted and Defeated. Pick up the book, Hacking the American Mind. Pick up the book by Jim Marrs, Population Control. Get that book. Crazy. Islam. Crazy. I seen the clip before I hit this beam out. Where they like, This is why I said go to those that know law. So one of the main issues that's going on, that's flying under the radar, is the issue of Article 3, Section 1 and 2 of the Constitution. The reason why Noble Drew Ali said go to those that know law is the fact that we don't have to participate in a system that was designed to keep us at the bottom of the barrel. That system is called caste slavery, or a caste system. That is to keep people who misidentify as so-called African Americans, Pan-Africans, Negroes. That system ain't got nothing to do with us. So Article 3, Section 1 and 2 is saying diversity of citizenship. Fam, listen to me, fam. Diversity of citizenship. Why y'all think they don't promote the Constitution? First of all, the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. And when they love bringing up, well, Noble Drew Ali, he didn't talk, all he talked about was religion. That's cap. He talked about civics. He mentioned the word Constitution in the Divine Warning over 10 times in that one document. Over 10 times. Look it up. He mentions constitutional government over 10 times, or Constitution. So when you say, well, what is the Constitution going to do? The Constitution was written by white people. Look up the term free white person in a Henry Campbell's Black's Law 4th edition dictionary. Because in order for you to break the spell of ignorance in your head, because it's been generations, just imagine, generations of toxicity has been pumped into our people's minds. So some more than others, it's going to take a lot of scrubbing, a lot of, you might have, like, when you growing up and your parents or your grandfather, your grandmama, they tell you to go over there and clean something that's got like years, it look like of rust on it or dirt on it or something like that. It look like that. And you got to go over there with that SOS pad and you got to go scrub them pots and them pans. A lot of people's minds are like that because of the design programming of indoctrination, of people are colors, the law don't matter, they're white people. All those are stains. All those are propaganda. And the reason why it's so thick is because of generations that shit been caking up. It's been caking up. It's been caking up in our minds, our mother's minds, our father's minds, our grandparents' minds. So when it hit us, we gotta scrub that shit off. Just like a SOS pad. You gonna have to scrub that shit off. It's gonna take painstaking study. Some more than others to remove the stains. Real shit. Because of and then you got TV. What is TV pumping out? Sex, drugs, gender war, division. The school system letting transgenders and homosexuals read to the children. They're promoting degeneracy. That's what they promoting. OF. They promoting OF. You know what's crazy about OF? The same girls that use OF as a money-making device for their lifestyle, they the same people that OF uses to fund the terror attacks that's happening with the Palestinians in Gaza. Did you know that? The same girls who use OF as a money-making machine, OF uses those girls' pages. They take out bread from their accounts when they cash them out. They fund the terrorist attacks that happen over there in the Gaza region. So the girls who thinking they really, my body, my choice, you actually are funding attacks against a genocide against another people on the other side of the world. Crazy. Insane. Deranged. But to them, they getting their bag up though. To them, you can't tell them nothing because they online, my body, my choice. Islam. They funding a whole operation over there and don't even realize it because every time they make an OF page, the people that own OF are the same people that's doing the genocide over there in Gaza. But they got on their page, free the Palestinians. What? What? Insane. And you dudes out there, you don't make it no better. You dudes out there, you don't make it no better. How? How don't they make it better? Because the psychological warfare programs, the PSYOPs, that are being used against the women, our women particularly, the man is the leaders. The man, we the head of the household. So if the house is out of order, it's going to take the man, Moorish man, with a strong mindset to get the house in order. It's enough past time right now to keep continually blaming the women. We know the women are the ones who are susceptible to be like, all right, you can use technology on the women and their minds because they're emotional. As men, we're not supposed to move with emotion. We're supposed to move with logic and reasoning. So you can't just keep continuing to blame the women because that's what all these marketers use billions and trillions of dollars for. They use billions and trillions of dollars to manipulate the woman because they know women don't think like men. Women have a different set of mentalities. So all of these monster machine corporations, they target drill the minds of women in ads, in promotions, in sales, in business. They are triggered to drill the minds of women. So you supposed to be a man, right? As men, we don't move off emotions. We don't move off of we getting triggered off an ad on TV or ad on social media. Exactly. As man, you got to be the head of the household, fam. Nah, I'm a real shit. Women in this modern day and time, they're using different methods for the destruction of the nuclear family, for sure. But you can't just lay down with any woman that's out here, though. Just because you can, don't mean you always should. And a lot of these broken ass families is because the woman she not protecting herself. The man is not protecting himself because on this polluted ass dating scene, you could look at it a lot of different ways, but it always gonna come back to law. It's gonna come back to the law. It's always, all events are governed by law. So if we would swing it back to, are you upholding law? Did you check out her mindset? Did you check out her personality? Did she check out his personality? Did she check out his mindset? More than likely, nah. Y'all seen each other. Sparks flew. Both of y'all was on some hot shit. Y'all wasn't on no, hey, let's link up and talk about building a business type shit. I'm talking about in general. You linked up on some sparks was flying. Y'all like how each other look. You feel me? And it is what it is. The next thing you know, now a baby come now. Or the possibility of now she pregnant now. And what it's gonna do? Since y'all didn't have a common understanding or real talk, like, look here, if this situation get to the point where a baby get involved, look here, this what we finna do. You know? We got to start having these kind of uncomfortable conversations. Because to a lot, they are uncomfortable. But in reality, they just grown folk conversations. It's dealing with law. It's dealing with divine law, divine masculine energy, divine feminine energy. Man and women were created to balance out the yin and the yang. There can be no man without women. There can be no woman or women without man. We need y'all, y'all need us. This is exactly what the divine creator Allah manifested when Allah created man and women. Allah did not create us to compete against each other. That goes against nature. You going against nature, it's like when they do these whole gender wars, right? It's not by accident. These are strategic psyop operations. Islam, or these are strategic. These people got think tanks. You think they just out here just winging it? These are think tanks. They get paid to create, just cook up shit, cook up disorder, cook up chaos. Why y'all think they got so many TV shows and talk shows that show the Moorish man, the Moorish woman, so-called black man and black woman beefing, arguing, throwing drinks on each other? Why y'all think that's they got so many shows like that? Basketball Wives, The Bachelors, all these shows. Why y'all think they got all these shows just to be on TV? Hell no. That shit's strategic. Let's show this what them corporations like. They like shit like Love and Hip Hop and all that shit, right? They like, look, we gonna pay these people to get in front of these cameras. We gonna create situations, have them look in certain ways, get them to speak on certain narratives to direct the minds of the people watching this shit to degeneracy. That's all it's for. The people only care about the ratings. So you can have the most sluttiest, dirtiest, most gossiping ass TV show, but the corporations they want that because it generates ratings. It generates money for these companies that promote it. You feel me? They promote the materialism, the competition between man and woman, gender war. Whole time, if you look at it from another perspective and you say, does any of this toxic shit, is it a reflection of me, or is it a reflection of overall society? Which one is it? Because if the shit that you watching is not a reflection of what you want to aspire to be, why are you watching it for? And you could mask it and then be like, well, I'm just watching this shit for entertainment. Yeah, you could say that. You could say that, but that's not really picking a side though. That's like, yeah, I'm entertaining some fuck shit that I know fuck shit. Turn that shit off. You know how many channels it is? You know, crazy. You feel me? You know how many channels it is that you could turn to, that you ain't gotta keep that degenerate ass shit on, that toxic shit on. Just like the music. Islam. It's just like the music. But you know what's crazy though? The human mind, the mind can be a beautiful thing or could be a worse enemy. Because it's all mental. The universe is mental. Whatever you put in your mind keeps it there. Ain't it wild? Whatever you put into your mind keeps it there. It never leaves. Whatever you put in your mind, I'm gonna say it again. it stays there. It never leaves. Now, you can detox and slowly start to flush it out of your system, but it's always going to remain in your subconscious. It's always going to stay. It's always going to be there. So people talk about Dr. Sebi and flushing out their system and drinking sea moss. That's good. That's good. You should detox, the human temple. You should detox yourself. But don't just leave it as you detoxing this part down of your body. This, like, you detoxing from your neck down. That's all you detoxing. You got to detox up here. Because this is the power box. This is the power box. Islam, this is the power box. Your energy, frequency, and vibration, that's what has to be detoxed. Anything you think, you make it your reality. It sounds cliche, but like in the book 48 Laws of Power, it says, I forget what law it is, but it says that you don't want to be around negative people, because negative people, not only will they rub you the wrong way, but they also have the innate ability, being negative, that negative shit will cling on to you. Next thing you know, you was all positive, everything was good in your life. But now, since you've been around somebody telling you negative, that, and then you start seeing shit in your life turn negative, you're like, hey, why is all this bullshit starting to happen to me? Then you think back to the shit that you watching, you listening to, you feel me, the people that you be around. All that stuff starts to ooze into your life. That's why you gotta guard your mind. You have to guard your mind in this day and age right now. In this age of Aquarius, it's man, fam, it's vital that you guard your mind. Because you got energy vampires out here, you got energy demons out here, you got all type of ghouls and goblins that's out here. That's waiting on you to be negative. That's waiting on you to go to the other side because you don't want to pick a side. They want you to be on the other side. They want you to stay in a mindset like, it doesn't really matter. I'm not gonna judge. You supposed to judge. That whole fam, it's a psyop. When they tell you, don't judge. We listen, we don't judge. Get your goof ass out of here. You judge every day. You go to the grocery store, you judge the food that you gonna put inside your body, don't you? So you're judging. You go to any place, you're judging how you're being treated when you're in that business establishment. You don't go to a business establishment, whatever business establishment it is, and say, treat me however you want to treat me up in here. That's an idiot. Only an idiot would think like that. So of course you judging. You judging on the kind of treatment that you're receiving. You want somebody to just treat you any old kind of way? No, sir. So you're judging customer service. You're judging. There's nothing wrong with judging. But you want to judge from a righteous intent. You don't want to just go in there and just be prejudiced and just hate on everything up in here without knowing what you're talking about. Nah, you supposed to judge, but judge righteously. That means before you judge it, you got some kind of knowledge base of what you're judging. Like judging traffic. When you in your car, you don't just pop out there and just hit the corner. You're going to judge the traffic. You're going to look left and right. You're going to judge the traffic. Is any pedestrians walking? You ain't just going to get in your car and just jump out there and be like, I'm outside now, I'm gone. Nah, only a fool would do that. So of course you judge. You judge every day. But see, they starting to use social media to program people to think that when you say judge, oh, it's offensive now. You gotta watch the psychological games they playing. We listen, we don't judge. See that shit right there? That right there, that's a psyop. We listen, we don't judge. Get your money, I don't judge. Fuck that. I do judge. I judge. So if you get your money by funding terrorists and you fund activity that's genocidal to other people and my people, you damn right I'm gonna judge you. You talking about? When I go to the grocery store, you damn right I'm gonna judge and see if the fruit that I'm finna buy is ripe or rotten. You damn right I judge. You should too. Don't let them psyop your mind and say, we listen, we don't judge. That goof ass shit. Supposed to judge. You gonna let somebody, you go somewhere in the store, some store you go to. Let's say you one of them people that you need validation off of buying something, right? Like you need validation off buying some so-called luxury product, right? The people that you go in, say you go into a Louis Vuitton store, and you going in there thinking the whole experience. You feel me? You going in there like, I'm going to a Louis store. They're gonna treat me upscale because I'm gonna spend a bag in here. And say, for instance, your entire experience in this Louis Vuitton store is terrible. It's the worst experience you ever felt and saw in your life. And this is how they treated you. But you thought that money and clothes was going to validate you. And look at the experience of the people who worked there, how they treated you. You're not going to judge that and say, I'm never going to be treated like this again in my life. So I'm not even fucking with Louis Vuitton no more. You see that? You see how you judge? You make an assessment on your treatment. That's natural, God-given mentality. But it's some people though, let's say they do have a bogus ass experience at Louis Vuitton. It's some people who in the mindset, they don't care how dirty you treat them. Because they're gonna want that merch from that store. So they gonna say, well, I had a bad experience at Louis Vuitton at this location. So I'm gonna go to another location and I'm gonna go see if they stores are different experiences than the store that I was at. It's some people like that. But let it be a so-called black person, like a so-called black business. What? I ain't even gotta tell you. If it wasn't a Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Prada store, so-called luxury store, and it was a so-called black business, look at my face. That one experience, they never gonna fuck with you again. And on top of that, they gonna tell all they people, hey, so-and-so store, they restaurant, they clothing store, don't ever shop there. They gonna drag your name through the mud to and from, just dragging your shit, dragging your business. But that European store, that hybrid European store, they gonna be like, oh, well, it was just a bad experience at that one location. All of them ain't bad. I'm just gonna go to another Louis Vuitton location. You see the difference? You see that self-hatred, that mental illness, that Willie Lynch shit? See? It's programming. It's programming, G. So-called black people, if they have a bad experience with one place, one so-called black business, it's to them, it's gonna be a stain on every so-called black business. Ain't it crazy? But if they have a bad experience with any other nationality, they gonna mess with them again. Just because them people is Louis Vuitton, Terre Hermes, Gucci, Prada, you know what I'm saying, Chanel, anything like that. To them, they equate, so-called black people, from what I see, they equate their value off material too damn much, to the point where they were willing to get shit on and treated bogus as hell by these other foreign nationalities, just because they want to get that merch. They want to get that stamp. They want to get that stamp of approval to be like, look at me. Look at me, shit. I got this Prada on. Shit, look at me. Look at me. I got this. You see this big dumbass Gucci sign on here? Look at me. It's the look at me shit. This is why Noble Drew Ali specifically said that. He said, money don't make the man. Clothes don't make the man. Shout out to the prophet, man, Noble Drew Ali. Money and clothes don't make the man. Money and clothes don't make the woman. Do you realize, man, you don't need no European fabric. You don't need a European approval stamp to validate you. If you in tune with Allah, you in tune with Mayat, you in tune with more science, you in tune with divine law, you in tune with trust law, you don't need a European hybrid stamp of validation. Don't y'all know we was here before European hybrids? So y'all don't even want to get into that, because that's going to lose people. That's going to lose people, because you're going to be like, what? What? Yeah. We've been on this planet so long, we didn't forgot. We don't need the hybrid European stamp of approval, fam. You don't need they stamp for validation. You don't need they Prada, they Gucci. You don't need none of that. You are already cold by yourself, because you come from the source. But see, pick up the book, Behold the Pale Horse. It's a section up in there. In that section, oh, it's windy out here in Chicago today. I'm trying to let that wind die down. That wind starting to just be blowing crazy. Out of nowhere though. I'm trying to let that shit die down for a second. So, when it comes to you saying that you don't need a validation sticker or a Gucci sticker, a badge or label of approval, you don't. You don't need that shit. Look, it's so real that if Moors weren't really the ones, how come the European hybrids, how come they watch everything that we do, imitate it, duplicate it, and then we the ones who get looked at it like, oh, we just let them just come in there and just take what our shit was. It's time for us to start getting stingy with our shit. Stop letting everybody else just come in and you ain't getting nothing from it. Like, for real, we need to start getting on that time. We let everybody else come in and get on what we on. Nah, it's time to start getting a little stingy. It's time to start having more pride in what we need to do. Islam, more. We need to start being a little more stingy and having a little bit more pride for who we are as Moorish Americans. Because everybody else come over here and act like this they land. Nah, we got to start getting more stingy with it and start letting them repping this right here. I'm talking about here in the Americas. We got to start repping this in the Americas, so when they see us, they gonna be like, yeah, they waking up. Yeah. Them Moors over there in America, they waking up now. Now you just ain't gonna be able to tell them that they black, they Negro, they a color person. Nah, you ain't gonna be able to just tell them that no more. Why not? Because them Moors now starting to realize that they the heirs to the world's largest estate. They the ones that's the mound builders, the pyramid builders. They the ancient architects. They the ones who really kicked it off on the planet. The Moabites, the Canaanites. You feel me? We gotta start having more pride in what we is. Straight up. Everybody come over here to our land and they be like, yeah, I love America. I'm an American. You ain't no damn American. You ain't no American. We the true Americans. You just a visitor here. You just live here. And on top of that, this is why the Prophet Noble Drew Ali told us, go to those that know law. Ask them under an intelligent tone, and they will be glad to render you a favorable reply. He said that in that literature so we could start getting into the governmental mindset. Governmental. Govern your mental. Everything is mental. When you go to those that know law, divine law, go to those that know universal law, trust law, consumer law. Go to those that know law in all aspects of law. Law ain't just one thing. Law is everything. It's laws to this. Peace, more. It's laws to this. We have been out here lawless. That's why a lot of stuff has been chaotic. Because the Asiatics and Muslims have been living lawless in North America, Central America, the islands, South America. We've been living lawless, especially the Moors, Islam, especially the Moors that live above Mexico. Imagine them telling you that Mexicans was not in America. Just imagine that. Imagine them telling you Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, and Haitians, and Trinidadians, and Belizeans, etc., wasn't Americans. When you can destroy that shit if you just pull a map up. And it's so easy today to pull receipts up. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Can y'all see that? You got whole wildlife. Didn't Noble Drew, fam? Yo, I don't know what's happening right now, but about 10 rabbits just ran right here, straight through the alley. About 10 of them. Didn't Noble Drew Ali say that it was gonna be wildlife? What people is like wildlife, fam. 10 rabbits just ran past me just right there. I only caught one of them. But there was some over there though. There go one right there. There go another one. See? You see that? See that? Don't tell me Noble Drew Ali didn't know what he was talking about. I'm mid-sentence on the beam out. And all I know is 10 rabbits just ran past. Okay. All right. He said that wildlife was going to be where people at. Cause nature talking. Nature ain't playing no game. See, that's another thing. Nature. We starting to get back to nature now. Cause Mother Earth, she fed up. Father Time fed up. They fed up. Fed up, fam. So this age of Aquarius, it's the age of knowing. It's the age of revealing. What is the Aquarius in the zodiac? The water bearer. And it's an air sign. People think it's a water sign, but it's an air sign. Shout out to my twin flame. They think it's a water sign, but the Aquarius is an air sign. This how you got all these instances of instant karma. Because karma ain't waiting around no more like it used to in the Piscean age. Karma now, if you do something now, it's a high probability that instant karma is going to be on your ass. Straight up. Because this is the age for that. This is the age of Aquarius right now. It's instant. It's airborne. It's airborne now. You know what I'm saying? That's what the age of Aquarius is. What I was saying, though, as far as diversity, us as Moors not thinking that Mexicans and Costa Ricans and et cetera, not thinking them Moorish Americans, and you pick up a map or you Google something and then you see through a quick Google search, that's the Americas. North, Central, South America, and all of the islands, including Hawaii. I had seen a clip somebody put up that was like, Hawaii is not America. I'm like, man, this is exactly why the school system was put in place. Created by Frederick T. Gates, Bill Gates' grandfather. Do you realize that Bill Gates, the maniac, Bill Gates, his grandfather was Frederick T. Gates. Cujo Islam, or what's the word? This guy, Frederick T. Gates, he linked up with Rockefeller and was like, hey, we're going to devise a plan to mold these people like clay in our hands, in our devilish hands. We're going to mold their brains to accept indoctrination as if it was erudition, as if it was true enlightenment. We're going to indoctrinate all of humanity, especially the Moorish Americans, because they can never know that they really the real ones. Frederick T. Gates, Bill Gates' grandfather, and one of the Rockefellers. You feel me? This is what we got to start talking about. So when you say that has nothing to do with me, it does. So what it has to do with you and I is the fact that we got to teach each other government, civics. We got to teach each other Constitution, divine law. We got to teach each other what it's really about. We talking about universal harmonics. We talking about languages. Then you say, well, what does the Constitution say about this issue? I'm glad you asked that. The Constitution specifically says, Article 3, Section 1 and 2. First of all, there's only one Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, I'm talking. Then Article 2 states something even stronger. Article 2, like, look here. There's something called diversity of citizenship. What's that? What's diversity of citizenship? Diversity of citizenship is one of the master keys. Diversity of citizenship is where you have to have two parties. This is what and why they're not bringing up the Constitution. When they talk about birthright citizenship, European hybrids and all these other people that get born over here in the Americas, just because they was born here don't mean they're American. It don't mean they're a citizen. It don't mean they're connected to the land. They not Jus sanguinis to this land. These are the master keys right here that we all gonna start each one teaching one. Just because a European hybrid or any other nationality was born in the Americas that don't mean they're American. They can never be American. Noble Drew Ali spoke about this. He wrote about this 100-some years ago in the prophecies and hadiths. Go check that information out. One of the hot talking points right now is citizenship. And the education, the indoctrination education system, they did a great job indoctrinating so-called black people, because so-called black people, they ready to have a fight with you if you bring up a conversation like diversity of citizenship and how they are not U.S. citizens. They get ready to have an all-out brawl with you if you tell them, even after they ask you, are they a U.S. citizen or not? You see? They ready to brawl with your ass. But that's the indoctrination system, though. That's from kindergarten all the way up to 12th grade. And if they went to more higher indoctrination, it's not higher education, it's higher indoctrination. If they go higher, they get indoctrinated further with their degrees. Right. So when they talk about birthright citizenship, right? So when they talk about birthright citizenship, the only ones who have an allodial title to these lands over here in North, Central, South America, and all of the islands, including Hawaii, the only ones who can make the claim and say, we were here first, are Moorish Americans. Point blank, period. Not even the so-called Indians can make that claim. Because how do you explain, if you brought us over here on slave boats, how do you explain the hundreds of Olmec heads that are indigenous and found all throughout North, Central, South America, and all of the islands? How do you explain that one? Smart guy? Smart girl? How do you explain the hundreds of Olmec heads that all have Moorish phenotypes? How do you explain that? How do you explain that? Can you explain that? Let me see you get that off. Right. Let me see you get that off. Let me see you get that off. Try to get that off. The hundreds of thousands of Olmec heads that are indigenous to the Americas with Moorish phenotypes. How do you get that off? Those are not hybrid Europeans. Those are not Indian faces. This is why the whole Indian narrative is another deflection off of birthrights, inheritance, allodial title, and law. All those are distractions. Pick up the book. Pick up that book, man. Distracted and Defeated. Islam. Hey, listen, man. Listen. They throwing the kitchen sink at people. Through social media, TV, they throwing the kitchen sink plus the garage at people right now. They like, look, we got to get these people so distracted on some behold the pale horse shit. Get them to talk about everything but birthrights, citizenship, government. Get them to talk about everything that pertains to nothing. Get them in their phones, taking selfies, doing OF videos. Get them to be lovers of themselves. Ain't that what the scriptures say? In the last days, people will become lovers of themselves. Ain't that what's happening today? People, they out here, they in love with themselves so much, they don't even want to wake up to reality. Everything but birthrights and nationality. That's what they want to keep us talking about. Talk about the baseball, football, basketball, soccer game. Keep talking about that. Keep talking about love and shit hop. Keep talking about that. Keep talking about everything that pertains to nothing. Keep talking about that. I'm tripping on, with all this technology right now, why ain't more people pissed off to the point where they like, y'all didn't lie to me about everything? Everything? And this is one of the things that I be looking at like, how sway? This is one of them how sway moments right here in my head. This is one of them how sway moments. Cause it be like on some, if they told you, right? They told you that you got brought over here on a boat. Where the boat's at? And why you still believing that you got brought over here on boats? It's one of my how sway moments. I'm doing it with y'all. This shit that be going on in my head. Another how sway moment will be the word Negro ain't in the Bible, but you call yourself a Negro. Plus, Christianity ain't even in the Bible, and you call yourself a Christian. This is one of them how sway. These are how sway moments. How sway? How? Why? Why sway? Why? Negro ain't in the Bible. White people ain't in the Bible. But you call yourself Negro and you call them European hybrids white people. And then, like the Moor just said, Moor is in the Geneva Bible though. But you don't want to be Moor though. You want to be what they told you. Ain't it wild? Ain't it wild though? Cause these same people that's in denial, they'll say this shit, this goofy ass shit. They'll be like, my ancestors came from slavery. And they couldn't read when they was in slavery because they was enslaved by the white man. This is what they'll say. But then I'll be like, well, today you ain't got no chains on your ass. So why is it so difficult to read today? Everything get quiet. They get mad. And then they go the other way. If your ancestors was enslaved and you out here free to do whatever you want to do, why you ain't reading today? Why you don't want to read today? You can't pay somebody to read today. But there's these same people will be like, my ancestors was enslaved and they couldn't read. So why don't you want to read today? Your ancestors was enslaved, so you say. So why don't you want to get informed today? Cause it's free. It ain't even like you gotta pay for it. It's free. You could go online and Google damn near anything you want. It's free. So why don't you want to get something that's free that can give you salvation today? I don't get it. When I say free, this is what I mean. Free as in when nobody can tell you something about something because you know it's true. You know it's a fact. You have freedom. Because you're not at the will and mercy of another person. You're free. When you know something, you have freedom. You can't be finessed. That's freedom. So let's magnify that and say, you know that you got a nationality. You know it. You don't believe it. You don't have faith in it. You surpass that to another level. You know this your land. You know that nobody was here in these lands before you was. You know it now. That's freedom. That's peace of mind. That's love. Islam, or that's freedom. That's truth. Is it not? Somebody do you dirty in your land, you have the right to receive justice in your land. Who don't want that? You know who don't want it? Somebody who don't want to be free. Them the ones who keep saying and keep staying in denial and second guessing and having doubts. That made the Moors that know and study. The Moors that know and study, like, man, we got plenty of room for y'all to come over here. We got a whole flag. We got a national flag. We got a flag of an empire over here with us. Y'all more than welcome. You more than welcome to come over here and join us. This is what Moors that's upright and stand on principles say. But you got dirty ones, though. You got dirty Moors who say, nah, you black. You a Negro. They're white people. They're the ones who are oppressing you. White supremacy. That swastika, that's negative. Dirty Moors. When you come across anybody who don't take a stand on something, especially government, law, history, they don't never take a stand. They always wishy-washy because they trying to fit in. They don't want to be looked at as a person that stands on actual shit. They want to be a person that's liked by everybody. Use caution around that person. Use caution. Because that type of person who never take a stand on shit, that's the type of person that'll leave your ass out to dry. Just so they could fit in. You should pick up this book called The Inquisition. It go crazy. The Inquisition got a chapter in there, not even a chapter, but it got a few pages in there about people known as familiars. Yeah. The book is called The Inquisition. The cover on the book so crazy. Once you see the cover of the book, you're going to be like, I got to get this. Because the cover of the book so crazy. It's like people that's like, they like on the cover of the book is like torturing people. People in there getting tortured. Islam, or it's called The Inquisition. But the people who don't want you to see yourself as you are, you got to use caution around them, fam. Yeah. A person who ain't got, that want to be liked by everybody, that ain't a person with a backbone. That ain't a person that take a stand on nothing. That ain't a person that's ready to defend their position. That's just a person that's like a fair weather fan. If they team doing bad, they'll flip-flop and go to another team. That's a fair weather type motherfucker. Islam. They always flip-flopping to different teams because they team ain't really on shit. They gonna jump to another team. Nah. It's just like that. Moors that take a stand and stand up for principles, stand up for divine law, for divine masculinity, for divine femininity. They stand up for principles. Them the Moors that you want to be around. That's the energy, frequency, and vibration you want to be around. You want to be around stand-up people. You don't want to be around people you could zell them something and they switch sides. Nah, You don't want to be around people like that because they don't really have a position. They don't stand for shit. You said, how do I know Islam? Them the ones you want to be around, though. You want to be around people that's vibrating, their energy up, their frequency up, to the point where we not in confrontation. Like this right here, right? Shout out to Khalifa Media. And shout out to all the Moors that came to Chicago. We had an event that was in Chicago, right? Like this past summer, we had an event that was in Chicago. Shout out to Canaanland Moors, Brother Cujo, IYL, Grand Sheik. He popped out, right? And I'm just going to use myself as an example. When I was around them Moors, and it was a gang of Moors that was there at this event. The event was lit, right? The Moors that I was around, I didn't have no confrontation with them. Me myself, it was love being around that, because when you around like-minded people, the energy, frequency, and vibration is harmonic. There is no big egos and big eyes and little U's, at least for me, because I know that they on the same type time. They on uplifting fallen humanity by teaching Moors to be themselves. So for me personally, I love being around that, because I see that Moors can get together and it not be like a pissing competition, an ego competition. It could just be, it's lit. And we warriors, and we like-minded, and we thinking about uplifting the nation. That's what it is. And if they ain't on that type of time, you know, they ain't on that type of time. Leave their ass over there. And it's even if they fake on that type of time, that fake shit always gonna be revealed. It's just a matter of divine timing. All that fake shit gonna be revealed. It's all gonna be revealed. It's just a matter of divine timing. It's gonna pop out. And you're gonna be like, yeah, I knew you was a fuck motherfucker. I knew you was. I knew you was on some fuck shit. You just came over here for some notoriety. You came over, Islam war, came through with some notoriety. You looking for notoriety. You looking for validation. That ain't what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali was in this for. He was in this for uplifting fallen humanity, teaching Moors to be themselves. Because it's going to take all of us to uplift this nation so we could build and destroy the fuck shit. That's what it's going to take. And that's what we own. And if they ain't on that, you know where they at. You know where they stand at. So shout out to all the Moors and Muslims and Asiatics that's out there that's on that and actually want something to change and doing stuff to make it change. Whether they out here, some people behind the scenes. Shout out to the Moors that's behind the scenes. You ain't got to be in front of no camera. You could be behind the scenes doing work, great work. You could be doing great work out here behind the scenes. You ain't got to be in front of no camera. You could be behind the scenes doing work. Because it's going to take everybody to have a position. Everybody has a position. Even in government, everybody has a position. You see? Government ain't like, well, it's just one thing that you got the Department of Defense, you got the Department of Education, you got the Department of Agriculture, you got the Department of Finances. Everything has different departments. You can't just have one thing. No, you got a national, you got a divine and national movement, government under one umbrella. The umbrella is the all red and green star. That's the umbrella. That's the flag. That all red with the 5-point green star, that's the Moorish Empire. Pick up the book by Peter Moon. Pick up the Book of the Dead. Montauk Book of the Dead. Pick up that book. Pick up the book, same author, Montauk Book of the Living. Pick up them two books. Either. Anyway, in that book, though, it just speaks about how the so-called America is Almoricanos, Estados Unidos. Almoricanos, Estados Unidos. Well, Estados Unidos. So it'll be Almoricanos, Estados Unidos. That is the Americas. Fam, we talking about ancient Islam. We talking about ancient. So when you say America, it's not named after Amerigo Vespucci. Amerigo Vespucci was a Florentine. He was not an American. So that's another lie. That's more cap that they'll say. Amerigo Vespucci named America. That's cap. That's cap. His name was Amerigo Vespucci. He was a Florentine that pretended to discover America. Pick up the book 1828, Noah Webster Dictionary. Get that book. You look up the word America, it's in there. You can Google it right now. Google it right now. Google the original definition of America in the 1828 Noah Webster Dictionary. You will see it. Amerigo Vespucci was a Florentine that pretended to discover America. It's cap. Then you look up the definition of America. What does it say? The original copper complexion. The original copper complexion people. America is transliterated from Al Morocco or Al Moricanos, Estados Unidos. Al Moricanos, Al Morican. Pick up the book. What was that book? The Old World, Volume 1 and Volume 2. Pick up them two books. America is the true old world. Pick up Volume 1 and Volume 2. The other day, Moore just told me it's a Volume 3 today. It's a Volume 3 today. America is the true old world. Volume 1 and 2. And it's a Part 3 that's available. You know? You know what I'm saying? You see, it's the season right now. Trees is budding. Trees is budding. See that? Springtime right now. Yeah? Yeah, they say Part 3 is out right now, more. See that? Trees is budding. Look. Trees is budding. Okay? And they was telling us, this how you know everything that they told us in school was a lie. They told us that the new year was in January. But then you see now, in March and April, that you see the springtime, the trees starting to spring out and bud. So how the hell was the new year in January? This is what I'm saying, G. Everything they told us is cap. Everything they told us is cap. Ain't nothing they told us 100. So imagine what they did with the Tartarians. Imagine what they did with the old Moorish empires. that was in the Americas. The mud floods, the earthquakes, the DEWs. Imagine what, hey, look. Look, the next time you want to watch Star Trek, say you want to watch Star Trek, Captain Kirk and shit. They had laser technology back then. So answer me this. How did the producers, what the fuck are you doing? This motherfucker finna run over the curb and hit a stop sign. Only in Chicago, Jay. Straight up. But look, dude ass Captain Kirk. You remember Captain Kirk, Spock, and Doc and all them, right? Y'all remember y'all remember the guns they had? They had taser guns in the show. Captain Kirk, Spock. Remember that? So that just shows you, if Captain Kirk was from the future, how did he have laser guns in the 1960s and 1950s when the show was started? Where'd they get the mindset to bring out lasers and taser guns in the 1950s and 60s if that technology didn't already exist from the ancient Moorish Tartarians? They already had this information. Yeah. They already had the information. They had the technology. They had the blueprints from the Tartarians, the Moorish Tartarians. They already had the technology. They got temples right now that's in the Americas that's older than temples on the other side over there in Egypt and Africa. Because the first Egypt is over here in Al Maghrib Alaska, America, Al Moricanos, Estados Unidos. That's over here. Bam. Where you think Tesla got them blueprints from? It's a book that you should get. His name was not even Nikola Tesla. Hey, man. What time is it? His name was not even, his original name was not even Nikola Tesla. He had a name before that. Pick up the book. Pick up the book. What was it? Ascending Rising? Ascending Rising? By Patricia. The author's name of that book is Patricia Corey. Patricia Corey. Was it Ascending Rising? No, Atlantis Rising. Yes, sir. Atlantis Rising. Pick up that book. By Patricia Corey. Atlantis Rising. Pick up that book. Crazy. Pick up that book. What's the word? Fam got the old school out. Yes, sir. That rock shit. But yeah, though. Nationality is proclaimed verbally. Facts. I love when we be having intelligent Moors on here. Because it's each one teach one. I learn from y'all. Y'all learn from me. Keep it in the family. I love when we got intelligent Moors on here. Because that's what it's all about. It ain't about Kush Day. It's about all of us. Nationality is proclaimed verbally. Your nationality begins when your mind thinks like that. That's your nationality. That's the beginning of your national statement. What you would say, your proclamation. You proclaim your nationality out loud. Do you see any Asian people proclaiming they walking around with papers? Do you see any Italians walking around with paperwork saying they're Italians? Do you see any Greeks walking around with papers that say they're Greek? What about Russian, Czechoslovakian? Do you see any Irish people walking around with paperwork that say that they Czechoslovakian and Scandinavian? You see, the mentality got to change. The mentality with so-called black people because of the indoctrination is I gotta prove something to you for you to believe who I am. What I'm saying to y'all, what I'm sharing with y'all is that's indoctrination. That's propaganda. You don't have to walk around with paperwork to know who you are. You say who you are because mentally you know who you are. You know who you are. So you don't have to walk around with paperwork to let somebody to validate yourself and to say who you are. No, you know who you are. You don't need to walk around with validation to say, this is who I am. You know who you are. Yeah. And these days that we in right now, and these times that we in right now, they'll be like, well, you need a national ID card to do certain things. But the Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, don't flash your cards. You flash your cards and then you don't know what to say behind you showing somebody your card, then what? Do the card make you or do you make the card? Because the Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, this national ID card is going to change in your pocket. The card don't make you. The paperwork don't make you a Moor. Islam. It's you being yourself that validates yourself. It's being yourself that is the ultimate key. But you got to start studying yourself to know yourself, to then be yourself. Because a man or woman can only be what they know. If you don't know yourself and you thinking bogus thoughts about Negro black color or some shit, then you're not being yourself. You're being a mental slave to the indoctrination of Negro black and color. You know what I'm saying? But I'm finna move around though. I hope y'all got something from this beam out. Hope y'all got something from this beam out, fam. It's always love building with y'all though. Building with Moors though. You know what I'm saying? You see me outside, man. Say Islam. You say Islam, I'm gonna speak back to you. You say peace, I'm gonna speak back to you. You say what's up, I'm gonna speak back to you. You see me outside somewhere, Islam. Say what's up, say peace. I'm not one of them Moors that be like, nah, don't say nothing to me. Nah, I ain't like that at all. I'm in the trenches. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm from. So you see me outside, peace. Islam. I speak back. You know what I'm saying? I speak back. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah. That was one of the things that I was gonna say though. Yeah. Before I slide around. As Moors, we're not Muslims. As Moors, we're not Christians. We're not. We're Muslims. Muslims. We're not confined in a box where you could say, nah, you're gonna put me in a nice box and you have to be this way. No, sir. That's the beauty of Islamism. Islamism is the study of all. So we're not in no box where you could be like, well, you're this way, you're that way, you're the... No, sir. You can never pinpoint what a Moor is that study, because we all of that. We all that. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. We all that, man. That's the beauty of Islamism. Islamism is not new. Islamism is an old time religion. Old time. We talking about ancient time. We talking about before the counting of time. That's what we talking about. Islam. So we not on some, we're Muslims and we have to do Shabbat or we have to do any other so-called ritual. We don't got to do that. You free to do what you do. As long as you upholding principles, as long as you upholding law, you good. Now, you start getting outside of law, and you start doing something off what law talking about, then you on your own. You on your own then. You on your own. I just had to put that out there, reiterate that. You know what I'm saying? It's Islamism. Yes, sir. I'm gonna holler at y'all more later, though. You know what I'm saying? Y'all be good out there, man. Study, study, study. I'm gonna see y'all more out there in June. Oh, yeah. It's gonna be an event in Chicago in June. Give you a heads up now. It's gonna be out here in Iraq, in Mecca, in June. If you in the Chicago area, pull up. If you could get to Chicago, pull up. That's what's helping out change and shift the energy, frequency, and the vibration. So if you could get to Chicago in June, pull up. We out here. Shout out to the East Coast. Shout out to down south. Shout out to the West Coast. Shout out to overseas. If you could get to Chicago in June, pull up. We hosting an event in Iraq, in Mecca. If you could get out here, slide. If you got questions about more science, if you got questions about classes, you got questions about book references, if you got questions, DM me. Link up with other Moors. Yo, what's up, boy? You got questions? Link up. Hit up my brother Cujo, Grand Sheik Cujo IYL. He's on here right now. Hit him up. He'll give you the date. He'll give you the whatever the itinerary is. It's gonna be in June in Chicago. Hit up Khalifa Media. Hit up her. Hit her up too. It's gonna be lit. Pull up out here. Telling you right now, while we already here in April. Telling you right now for June though, Morris. Plan something. Move around. It's gonna be hot. Move around this year. Move around. Get active. Link up with other Moors that's like-minded. Where ego and all that fuck shit ain't gonna be a problem. Ain't gonna be no egos and all that other. Nah. Ain't gonna be none of that. You link up with other Moors that's like-minded. You know what I'm saying? Alright? Oh yeah. If you in Arizona, link up with Moors out there in May. If you in Arizona, or you gonna be around the Arizona area, link up with Moors out there next month. You got some more Bituses on here right now that you could hit up, get the info, get the itinerary, link up with them. They'll put you in tune with everything that they doing in May. All right? It's our time, boys. Don't be fooled by the U.S. corporation and the distractions. Brooklyn, Brownsville, yes sir. Shout out to Coney Island. Yes sir. BX, Harlem, Manhattan, Staten Island, Queens, all y'all out there. YO, Islam. Yeah. All y'all out there. Shout out to Florida. Shout out to all y'all, man. Cali. You know what I'm saying? Rhode Island, Maryland, VA, DC, ATL, yes sir, St. Louis, all y'all Moors out there repping, man. Indiana, Islam, Flatbush, Islam. All y'all Moors out there that's in tune. Crown Heights, Islam. Hey, that Juve this year, right? If y'all in Brooklyn and y'all going to Juve, shout out to South Carolina. Y'all go to Juve, you gonna see all of the Moorish drip. You know the rack up in here. Yes sir, South Side. Wild Hunnets, East Side Crazy, out west, up north. Inglewood, Low End, Roseland. You know what I'm saying? You out there in Brooklyn and you go to Juve, look at all the Moorish drip. From the women to all the festive, you know what I'm saying, outfits they gonna have on. All that's Moorish drip. Shout out to Dallas. All that's Moorish drip. You know what I'm saying? If you go to the Caravana this year, all that's Moorish drip. All the different flags you gonna see, all that's Moors. It's all one nation. It's just they try to keep us divided and separated, because they'll be like, well, you from St. Lucia, or you from St. Vincent, or you from Trinidad and Tobago. See, don't fall for that. Don't fall for that. Or you Belizean. Or you Bayesian, don't fall for that. Or you Haitian, or you Dominican, you Puerto Rican, don't fall for that. We all Moors though. See, that's the thing. We all Moors. That's why the outfits be so similar in Brooklyn on Juve and the Caravana for the festivals. All the outfits, if you really watching and paying attention and you thinking about it from a historical ancient drip perspective, you're gonna see like, damn, they outfits is pretty much the same. They not Indians. It's no such thing as a West Indian. Nah. It's no such thing as a West Indian. So what's the East Indian then? What's the North Indian? What's the South Indian? Talking about West Indian. That's how you know all that shit cap. West Indian, East Indian, South Indian, North Indian. Get your ass out of here. Nah, we Moors. That's what it is. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Moorish Americans. Noble Joe Ali said he was going to give us something to be proud about, to shout about. To shout about. So, get you an all red, 5-point green star flag. You in Brooklyn, you in Juve, you at the Caravana, you up there in T-Dot, you down there in Central America, you down there in the Caribbeans. Don't forget about repping that all red with the 5-point green star in it, because that's the flag of the Al-Moroccan Empire. Or you ain't even got to be in the places that I just named. You could be in Chicago, you could be in Texas, you could be in Cali, you could be on the East Coast, Harlem somewhere, you could be down there in Florida somewhere, you could be up there in Seattle somewhere. Rep your flag. You could be up there in Canaan land. Rep them flags. Rep them flags. Put them fezzes on. Put them turbans on. Come outside like this. You know what I'm saying? Now you start coming outside like this. Oh shit. See? See? You start coming outside like this. Now they gonna be like, oh shit. The Moors starting to wreck. They starting to wake up now. The Moors starting to wake up now. Oh shit. Yeah. Yeah. The Moors starting to wake up now. You come outside like this for a carnival, for a festival, they gonna be looking at you like, game over. Game over. Yeah. Yeah. The respect level gonna go to the moon and beyond. It's our time now. It's our time now, Moors. Each one teach one. Ourself, law and master. Study, study, study. Peace, Moors. What's up, fam?